Hello, everyone. Good evening. And we welcome you to the readings of Writing Across Disciplines course. So the course has started in September, and since September we were writing, and decided that it's just about time to show it to the world. So we have a program which is going to last for about an hour, and we're going to go without a break. So I think that we will probably just read, and then if you have any questions, feel free to write them in the chat, and I guess we will ask the questions or have an open discussion after everybody has finished. So I think that possibly without any further ado, we can give the floor to Anastasia Tsukanova. So you're very welcome.
So hello everyone, my name is Anastasia and I would like to introduce my poem called Masquerade. When a man's feeling guilty, his actions make no sense. Why did I let my temper recall the old offense? How about you are bored to turn your call away? Is this a piece of frankness, or no more than an escape? You'd better tell all the jokers in the pack of jacks apart. Clever fellow when stones like a face-down ace of trumps. Oh my God, what a hottie, the teenage queen of clubs. Oh, I've tried to find a sweetheart, but got a flush of shallow hearts. So innocent, so unmade up she seemed to be. The only one to appreciate it was me. I want to know if it differs to be from not to be. Bluff you're tough for your virtues to end this hand unseen. And there is a snare in sincerity to be treated as a trick. You used to ooze your mordancy. The game's played fair and the race made big. This open-faced, this unfrightened you can be mourned. The only one for whose sake it's been was her. I can't bet on a smile abandoned among the wanton greens arrayed. My rage helpless has to fade out facing this sin masquerade. Move its way through me. This is undoubtedly the most massive Halloween party ever. Featured on every evening paper spread are the crowds of people dressed as the mighty hangman, as well as the death or the devil. The authorities reportedly consider the case to be no big deal. Got into a vicious circle, hanging there upside down. Took new moon, a narrow sickle, cut this rope and get it done. Slip in hand and all in blood, with no time to say goodbye. Wash away deep-rooted mud that you used to deny. Let your demons out and dance. One cannot resist this lust. Break the chains for at least once. Face yourself without a mask. No Moloch hair, no obscenities make one's freedom. No plaster face, no black humor of life gives riddance. No band in pink, no wrist cards stop the heart from bleeding. The only way to stand out is to stick to their own credo. I can't bet on a smile abandoned among the wanton grins arrayed. My rage helpless has to fade out, facing this sin masquerade. The heavens have to fade out, facing this sin masquerade.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Елена Попова, you're welcome.
Hello, everyone. Uh, it's called One More Night. It was surprisingly appropriate that the frost appeared on my silly round window for the first time that day, on a New Year's Eve. Once I focused on what was behind the intricate patterns, I became very close to seeing the true nothing. The world outside was divided into two parts. The upper one was a black sky, the lower a white snow-covered ice floe. The day was going on strangely. I skipped breakfast, wrote several emails, tried to appear strong and funny, and then worked the whole day. The work was unsophisticated. I was simply typing the endless entries of the paper-filled journal into the laptop. I listened to the Teen Drum album by Japan over and over, turned it on to shut down the noise behind the wall, but started to enjoy it. The party would be starting and probably ending late. I could never know what to expect from these celebrations, so I drank coffee more and more as the evening was approaching. Actually, the day was normal. It looked like any other day on board the last couple of months. The strangeness was caused by the expectation of this day to be special. Funny, as far as I remembered, it was the same ashore. Time to go to the party a deck above. It started with food, of course. They served shrimp, and I enjoyed the fact that something still could make me excited. I was sharing the table with two biologists and three geologists, not the worst company. There were some party games with the purpose of making people drunk faster. Never understood it, but laughed with everyone. Some people indeed look foolish. At midnight, we tried to watch a very long video of a president's speech. It was glitchy and looked like a sophisticated media installation. For a few seconds, it caught our attention, and then everyone started to cheer and talk and clink their glasses. Then the youngest girl, dressed as a snow maiden, started to give out pre-collected random presents. I got a flashlight with an image of a gun. Radio Man, I had heard only bad things about him before. Turned on the cars and started to dance, receiving my silent approval. After a couple of songs, the captain required to turn on football-themed music videos, and despite everyone's indignation, they were on in a second. I sat for several minutes more listening to my neighbor's talks and left the canteen, leaving the flashlight on the table. I descended to my cabin to get dressed. It was not that cold outside, and walking seemed the best way to spend some time on my own. Passing by the bridge, I noticed a crew member behind the thick glass. Never got to talk to him or learn what was his job. I guess the poor guy had to be there on his watch. He was smoking a pipe, so stereotypical. Is this even allowed? Not my business. I reached the helideck, round and empty, powdered with dry sand-like snow. I leaned against the fence and watched the ice flow for a while. What a scene, I could say, if I were someone else. No moon tonight, the white light around is just a reflection. Thinking of that Shape of the Ocean poem I found in the local library book. My polar ocean is like a candy my mom used to give me when I was a child. Vicious, viscous, and fresh inside with a crusty shell. Inevitably, I started thinking about everything being stuck here, cold, nothing to do, a constant night. A short summer cruise turned into several months of drifting in the ice. Research had nearly stopped. The boredom was almost killing the unfortunate researchers as well as the crew. Yet I was reading and thinking about all the similar expeditions 100 years before us. We were lucky to have food and coffee and everything. Where were we even? Someone said yesterday 92 degrees north or 82, I didn't remember. Thanks to our engineers, the email still worked. I received a picture with the cats in the festive hats from my mom that morning. Now we all had to spend this New Year's Eve in the middle of nowhere. All celebration plans were forgotten to make it easier here. Who am I kidding? I would have spent the night alone. A sudden spotlight reminded me of a lightning. There was a polar bear to the left. Was it? Yes, he looked at me, right at me, small black eyes. My polar bear. We looked at each other for some time. Once I blinked, he moved the ears slightly, turned his head first, then the whole body, and slowly left. I stared as he was walking away in the ellipse of light. Only later did I realize that the spot was carefully controlled by that unfamiliar crew member. I felt the urge to see our dog. He lived near the ladder. On my way, I saw a couple of a sailor and a snow maiden in a small room near the exit. They were almost kissing. The dog was lying on a fluffy rug. He met me lazily with a tired look. I pet him and he started to drink. Why didn't the water freeze? It was still too early to go back inside. I wanted to reach the highest point of a ship and ascended to the upper deck. It was surprisingly quiet there, yet colder. I noticed a man on a heli deck below, seemingly an aerologist preparing to launch his weather balloon. This is how I learned it was 2:30 a.m. A huge white ball took off slowly and went straight up, leveled with me, and disappeared in a dense stream of ship vapor. The show satisfied me. It allowed me at once to go back to the cabin. The one last distraction was my reflection in a random window. An orange jacket with a fluffy hood, ruffled hair, frosty thick glasses, a slightly lost look, and tense shoulders. I had the urge to change something and made an ugly face. My cabin mate was clearly drunk, sleeping on the hard, short sofa. I turned on my lamp quietly, made some hibiscus tea, and started to write the night down.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So we started with technology and masquerade, and we continue with nature. So the next one is Anastasia Bulatova. You are very welcome.
Hello, everyone, and I guess I'm opening a love section with my untitled poem about the history of life on Earth and our daily routines mixed up together, because for some random reason I had it in my head for a while. Give me a second. A lifeless land, notes on your phone, a planet lone, lights above the street, a cocktail of toxic gases spewed over by planetary volcanoes, eggs for breakfast, the sky is clean and blue for the first time, angsty thoughts, the first burst of life, a bakery around the corner, an ability to eat the sun, bruises on my legs, an idea of consciousness, a message in my notification bar. Box trees are there for a while. Now I know the language you spoke to me.
So we continue with our love section. Sophie, you're welcome.
Hello, everyone. So my poem is, my name is Pit, also I'm known as the poet of queerness, and I really wanted to read it out loud at these hard times that we face right now as the whole world and especially Russia. So if you will have any questions after the event, I will be ready to answer them. Okay. 167. The shape of the ocean. Part 1. There's a tunnel in the center of the ocean. Have you heard about the tunnel in the center of the ocean? Some say you just need to crawl down. But don't fool yourself. You'll fall into the ocean again and again, losing touch with the tunnel's walls. The sky is hungry for words. You'll try to come back to the cold, humid surface, but the water is never still. The water is never still. And in just a moment, you'll find someone else to fixate on. I threw away my only vial of HRT. I was terrified by the thought of cops finding it. and taking it for drugs. How can I tell if what I perceive is real, or does it just seem that way? Am I Narcissus for wanting to see myself in the reflection? Part 0. There's a ladder in the center of the ocean. Have you heard about the ladder in the center of the ocean? I want to see the movement, not the assigned image, but the image lingers. The shape of the ocean certainly shouldn't be two sweaty naked bodies sprawled on the brink of the rock formation. I'm so wrong to think that, but the image lingers. It blurs and it drifts and it looks and it glitches. It reflects on the salty water. Your knees, when the sun sets right inside them, have nothing in common with the shape of the ocean. The thing is, the ocean died. There are no shapes left, only husks. Part -1. There's a staircase in the center of the ocean. Have you heard about a staircase in the center of the ocean? An engraving on its silver railing says, once you reach the bottom, you'll find out what the shape of the ocean is. The idea of romantic love is a parasite. Get in the water. At first, you'll feel goosebumps, but then you'll start asking questions like, when will she write back? Losing yourself in the waves again and again. Your ankles will get cold, but the assigned image lingers. It disintegrates, it reiterates, it dissolves, and it reaches you. Why doesn't your face reflect on the salty water? The sky is hungry for words, but the sea currents go deeper. Part -2. There is water in the center of the ocean. Have you heard about the water in the center of the ocean? Letters, lit, shore, letter in the bottle. Let's try to swim breaststroke. There are so many unexplored ways to swim. Part -3. There's an elevator in the center of the ocean. Have you heard about the elevator in the center of the ocean? Waiting for the letters of their names to arrive. People die waiting. The sky is hungry for words, but the waters go deeper. Thus, still room. Get in the metal box. Push the button. Get to the bottom of it. Go to the lowest level. Don't fall into the ocean. Hold on to the rails. Deeper and deeper. Hold tight. Stop and pry the double bottom open. On the floor, you will find a little piece of paper. Pearl white sheet with torn edges. It makes no sound when it reaches your hand. Pick it up and try to read it. Get in the paper. You will see the blankness inside and out, and then plunged in the blankness, you will forget your own dead name. The shape of the ocean is blankness of a single piece of paper. The happiest shape.
Thank you. Thank you, Sophie, for the vastness of the ocean and the variety of shapes. And I welcome Antonina Alexeevna.
Hello, everyone. When I left home, my red fan being myself was kind of abandoned there. I couldn't go back to return it, so I had to create it from scratch. Piece by piece, I collected artifacts of this, right, and put them into a soft bag to save its uniqueness and fragility. So, what's in my bag? A magnifying glass. By chance, you took the same mirror I did, and admired how you held the glass. Perhaps you saw that this and winked, but maybe it was also by chance. There was something gentle and familiar in such wink. None of the boys I liked ever did this, but some person who I wouldn't remember did. It was a friend and colleague of my grandfather, a respectable architect with a thick gray hair. We used to spend a lot of time with him and his children when I was a kid. This dry man used to smoke a lot, which gave him a husky voice and constant noble smell of tobacco, but probably caused his stomach cancer and obviously deepened his wrinkles. Holding a cigarette in his mouth, he often drew rough but confident sketches on napkins or saucers with a black gel pen. Metallic and heavy, it was always in his shirt pocket. He perfectly told jokes and anecdotes, never hurried, and often looked at people from under his gray eyebrows with a slight and kind smile. He often winked when looked this way. The best of all intelligent men in the world was concentrated in such winks. Here, we're here to notice the beauty of world's imperfections and feel them with the tips of our lashes. A damaged butterfly's wing, a scar above your eye, a red leaf, little sun of a rainy day. Velvet smiles of our loves, so different each time. How long we'll be here yet? Doesn't matter, till we notice this diverse fragility. What's in my bag? A boarding pass. I said to myself, just get through this transparent ceiling as you have always done, without fear and hesitation. The ceiling turned into dense gray cotton. The closer I was to it, the more zigzag layers of mountains the horizon opened to me, until they all diffused in cotton clumps. If people could make the cloud, they would sell it in shapes of new balloons. They would then sell it at first in garages, and build factory lines in developing countries, and would write the reviews, set the trends for thrills, advertise clouds in musical videos. But what they couldn't do is to make such a cloud where you will meet me when the world disappears. We're here to notice the beauty of the world's imperfections and feel them with the tips of our fingers. A scratch on the laptop keyboard, a fresh leaf of green spinach slightly powdered with dust, a rough stone, little son of a cold cliff, velvet skin of our loves, so different each time. How long we'll be here yet doesn't matter till we notice this diverse fragility. What's in my bag? A patch with a frog. The scratch I got at bouldering was bothered me all day, but I didn't want to cover it with a boring beige patch from a first aid kit. The cashier at pharmacy was looking at me from under her glasses on chain, having no idea why I asked her for a pack of colorful patches. It's for kids, my friend said, and it walked out. The cashier gave me a set of patches with hippos and frogs. Oh, this poor woman only knew that the best things in the world are not divided by kids and adults categories. Maybe she wouldn't be so grumpy if she allowed herself to get the scratch at bouldering and cover it with a hippo patch. 1, 2, 3, 4. What's behind this kitchen door? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Secret words that we can tell. A, B, C, D. Will you really forget me? E, F, G, H, I, J. No, I know we'll meet someday. To find that with thumbs, to share the treats, spin the dance, kiss on lips. We're here to notice the beauty of faults and imperfection and feel them with the tips of our tongues. A sour berry just picked from a bush, a soft fluffy cheese rind, a sharp CO2 bubble, little son of a SCOBY bacteria. Velvet lips of our loves, so different each time. How long will be here how long will be here yet? Doesn't matter till we notice this diverse fragility. Thank you.
Thank you, Antonina. We've been working with linear writing, and we've seen the examples of linear writing. We didn't really work much with media, but you've still seen the examples of media. And this was a hypertext that we created in Twine during the course, and that was a beautiful example of a personal story that can be told with this non-linear shape. Thank you, Antonina. And the next one to go is Yunona Paspelova. You are very welcome.
Thank you. I will read a short poem dedicated to the person I love. I met you in a snowy day, violet hat, black jacket, shining like a cosmonaut. The voice, the questions you ask, intrigue. Antelope, gazelle, cheetah, vulnerabilities and strengths form you. The shepherd, I trust you, every single piece of my soul. You grow like an olive tree. Under Italian sun, I harvest your love. Caramel skin, pure and clean, the touch is a pleasure. The way of your life, shapes of your thoughts, deep, bright, intense. You are free. I see you. I feel you. You.
Thank you. Thank you, Yunona. And we continue our love section with Maria Sotskaya. You're very welcome.
Yes, thank you, Natalia. Hello, everyone. I'll read a text that must be read aloud because it's the oath. The oldest authored text found on the earth was written by a woman to a woman. The Akkadian princess, poetess, and high priestess Enkiduana wrote a hymn to the goddess of love and war, Inanna. 5,000 years later, I, an authoress based in Berlin, continue to write this hymn to you, the goddess of myriad sounds. Did Inanna play the celestial spheres? Your sounds fill our planet every day, crossing outside in the shape of electronic music. Once they can be found in Paris, then in Texas, and you follow them, join copies with the originals. I saw your photograph on the web and memorized that revelation. It's pure luck that in life you happen to be the one next to only whom one may want to be. You happen to be yourself. Smart, talented, dissenting, curious, daring, lively, open. I don't have to pretend. I allow in advance everything to be. We have no rules or maps. We invent traditions and bypass laws. It's even more attractive to feel our way together, to listen and to hear, to wonder and to trust, to learn and to grow. I'm glad we don't have to follow wedding rituals today, but we can if we want, or we can come up with our own. The word hymn is bonded with the verb weave. The hymn is a woven song. In antiquity, people uttered words as if weaving threads, connecting letters in the verbal fabric. So I've already woven our dresses. As a child, I thought that in the phrase, till death do us part, the word thing is death. Now I think the word thing is not to have a choice until death. I make a solemn promise to trust myself, you, and life, and do what is best for us.
Thank you. Thank you, Maria. And we have the last person in this section, Ekaterina. You're welcome.
Hello, everyone. Nice to be here. I'll read a collection called Dreams and Circles, and the part of it, which is the collection of some diaries. The 12th of October, hoping I could find a piece of myself, I ended up in a trap. Hope is a nice word for those who are lost on their way, in their thoughts and beliefs. I've delved into this world without a hesitation. We both knew it was going to happen, and both believed it wouldn't. My heart bounces as he touches me, and later in the new day beginning, all the parts of me are soft and limp. I just want to bask in the sun and play with the cat while sun rays are reaching my feet and running around the floor playfully right before giving away to clouds and drizzle. The 17th of October. My thoughts are terrifyingly occupied by you, and it scares me to death. The death of myself I'm scared of. I know I can be free, but I'm willing to stay with you this time. I'm afraid to lose the balance between you and me, which didn't used to scare me before. The bottom of the belly is hurting bad, and I'm thinking of what I would do if there was your baby. Is it something crazy to think about? I'd be taken aback and overwhelmed, but would I truly get rid of it? Do these thoughts symbolize my feeling to you, which is growing inside? I'm as afraid of it as if I actually had a baby there. The 19th of October. Who knew that being on my own and with myself would be the most desired by the end of the day? I used to hate autumn, these dark colors, this instant change, and unlovable weather. Maybe it's the global warming or another location or another climate, but maybe it's the aging too. I desire now to live this season, my season as I was born in it, on my own, staying in bed, feeling a little blue, and experiencing nostalgia, my regular state of mind, and wandering alone in the yellow and red forest. This is little and simple, but it's me. The 24th of October. I've been thinking about the feature of a female body to give birth recently. It's not something that I purposefully want to think about, but this thought appears for some reason at these different moments of life, and it's been reoccurring quite often lately. It happens out of my will, but by chance while I'm reading Sylvia Plath or Annie Ernaux. And then I start thinking about my body and the horror I lived through, realizing I might not ever have children, but then panicking by any slight thought that I might become pregnant, and also feeling agony and rage, thinking of those who couldn't get abortion legally, and of those who are deprived of this right. I feel so much about it, and I can't express anything. I'm the stalk, I'm the foam, I'm like a mountain goat. I'm an heretic for my motherland. I'm the scarf you cherish. I'm in the heart of life. I'm not a woman, but the light. I'm an easily pleased guest. I'm my father's daughter. I'm in the tree of life. I'm the trail of a slaughter. The 31st of October. Life in general is a traumatic enough experience to write about. The trains are just big cradles for adults. The birch grove scares me with its transparency. I prefer the pine forest with its deep darkness. The 8th of November. My dance teacher Sasha said that it is better to move wrongly but confidently rather than precisely and uncertainly. The 9th of November. Will I ever have enough strength for this next winter? Perhaps something in my body is not working properly and it can be simply fixed. Perhaps this is just a period that needs to be lived through again. But why are our bodies so imperfect when the world is so big and incomprehensible? I ask childish questions not in search of an answer, but in order to the dissonance and thereby relieve the stress. I get tired of overthinking very often, so I replaced it with action, but focus always seems to elude me. The phone's battery is low, 5% left, and I'm lying with my body on the floor, unable to reach the charger. We are separated by some centimeters. The 21st of November. His eyes are His eyes are much darker than mine. I can't swim very well, so I'm scared of drowning. So I avoid taking baths together. This look is some kind of a warning. Do not approach this dog, it might bite. I think this dog is protecting itself, although it looks like it's scared for the house. This sort of responsibility is scarier. I'd rather be looking after someone else and protest it. Look at what I've done. I know you're watching, don't pretend you aren't. He was of three minds. One was the road sign, which he faced too eagerly, trying to stop himself and the others. Another was a sewing machine, trying to make smooth and neat stitches. The third is the house on the edge of the world. The time is still there, and you can feel the eternity passing by if you breathe out slowly enough. the 23rd of November. The blood pressure is growing and the headache is inevitable. I'm feeling lost and empty. You aren't around again. We're separate. I'm feeling lonely, although I'm not alone. And I drained myself and I need this hug, or at least your short glimpse. Why aren't you letting me in? This is more tiring than I expected. I think I should go. This blurry picture of the city all covered in white is devastating and making me nauseous. What should I do? I don't really care for the others and their opinions anymore, to be completely honest. Feels like people are too scared of the word love, of my particular word, but what could I do? The story is a never-ending circle, because one touching the other brings this circle in motion. This machine never stops, bringing damage to everyone involved in the circle. This connection is unstoppable in its very root. A hula hoop is a circle too. While you're moving, it also twirls. Till the minute you freeze. Loop is also a circle. If I had to live in a loop, what loop would that be? Does it mean I am complete if I want my life to be a never-ending loop? What would I exclude from it? The condom you left under my bed is also the shape of the circle, the loop full of my unborn, loveless children. I draw circles with my back of the head, motion in a loop, circle of rebirth. My brain also works like a hula hoop. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ekaterina. And slowly we transmute from love discourse to other themes which are expressed in more experimental genres. So we are going to listen to two authors who practice generative writing. So the first of them, and something which was on the background of Ekaterina's reading was also a generative poem. So Uliana is also going to read two generative poems. So Uliana Gerasimova, you are welcome.
Yes, thank you. Where are you, big sister? The dust bunnies in the dark room. For you it is midnight, but for me it is already half of tomorrow. Where are you, younger sister? Midst the field breaking first frost? For you it is sunset, but for me it is already half of yesterday. Where are you, younger sister? By the mountain dancing in the pouring rain? For you it is 8 a.m., but for me it is already half of today. Where are you, sister? In the roaring crowd? For you it is dawn, but for me it is already half of tomorrow. Where are you, sister? Midst the field breaking first frost? For you it is 6 p.m., but for me it is already half of tomorrow. Where are you, older sister? With howler monkeys on the palms? For you it is 6 p.m., but for me it is already half of yesterday. Where are you, younger sister? Among the salty pines? For you it is night, but for me it is already half of tomorrow. Where are you, older sister? Midst the field breaking first frost? For you it is 8 p.m., but for me it is already half of today. Where are you, big sister, among the salty pines? For you it is nightfall, but for me it is already half of yesterday. Where are you, sister, by the white aeroplane wing? For you it is 6 a.m., but for me it is already half of today. Where are you, little sister, by the mountain dancing in the pouring rain? For you it is dusk, but for me it is already half of yesterday. Stop here. And I have another one. They have a very similar. They have similar theme and words. Once in a blue moon, at midday, I call my big sister to shout about the upcoming family holiday hovering over us. We talk instead about boring politics. Often, at noon, I call my big sister to laugh about parental disappointment, crawling up her spine. We talk instead about repetitive politics. Occasionally, at 8 p.m., I call my little sister to cry about the upcoming family holiday stuck in my throat. We talk instead about lifeless job applications. Once in a while, at sunrise, I call my sister to shout about the injustice of life scattered around the world. We talk instead about tiring waiting lines. Once again, at sunset, I call my big sister to laugh about the upcoming family holiday scattered around the world. We talk instead about tiring job applications. Once in a while, at 8 a.m., I call my big sister to cry about our childhood scattered around the world. We talk instead about mundane weather. Sometimes at midday, I call my big sister to dream about her success smelling of pine trees. We talk instead about stupid mutual friends. Often at dusk, I call my sister to dream about secrets only she knows, smelling of pine trees. We talk instead about lifeless mutual friends. Once in a blue moon, at dawn, I call my younger sister to cry about our childhood crawling up her spine. We talk instead about boring waiting lines. Sometimes at 6 p.m., I call my little sister to shout about parental disappointment crawling up her spine. We talk instead about tiring politics. Often at sunrise, I call my little sister to be quiet about loud nightmares scattered around the world. We talk instead about mundane job applications. I think I'll stop here because it can go like this forever. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Uliana, as endless as the conversation of sisters. And here I welcome Viktor Kirtanov.
Hello, everyone. I'll share my screen. Okay. So I'll give some context. I have tried to understand if there is some secret meaning in the unread messages in the mailbox. So I extracted 17,000 messages and tried to compile some kind of alphabet. And what you'll see is just some glimpse of this work. And I did not use AI for this purpose. Just a disclaimer. Okay, waste. Don't waste time overcomplicating a portfolio by including unnecessary bells and whistles. You can sit there wondering if another line wastes their time. They should not waste their time on little problems. Dear, what is a waste of time? A colossal waste of time. He came to me for a straight talk. I need a computer that does not waste my time with bullshit. Waste is worth the British government. Is working a 9-to-5 job really a waste of your life? Using the bathroom during your lunch break is a waste of free paid time. I don't waste time on feelings. It is a waste of energy, that's a waste of air and resources. Love meetings in general, remote or in person, a free event. Being angry is a waste. The microorganisms' own waste serves as a secondary food source. I never became frustrated with technical problems, regenerative farming practices. Someone born and raised in the north of Switzerland. Don't waste money on the new water bottles. Live until 75. Waste more than 20,000 hours reducing food waste, making compost. Such frivolous will, the rotten yesterdays. Waste management orchestra, evaluate my worthiness. Transforms waste into totemic assemblages with its hopes and invitations. A dystopian Istanbul. I told him in the face, you are time, don't waste a day. Waste is available to pre-order on red vinyl. Tremendous effort has transformed my life more than realizing it's a waste of time. And now the second, breathe. How to breathe optimally and why it is so important when you are at your best. How do you walk, talk, breathe, and hold yourself? Now a good time for that? Change how you breathe to reduce stress and anxiety. Breathe a sigh of relief. An awareness and an absolute. We aren't our ancestors. Most of us breathe too much, knowing that we live and breathe in a field of infinite possibilities. Fix is straightforward, at least conceptually. Top big idea from the oxygen advantage. Breathe less. Rule number one, breathe through your nose. The number one tip, breathe less to breathe right. There are a lot of fancy reasons to choose to breathe in and or out of your mouth. Breathe through your nose exclusively. Flip the breathe less to breathe right switch. Then breathe in through your nose. And breathe in through your nose. Do you breathe deeply yet calmly into your belly? Most people don't, especially if you breathe big ideas we explore. One more time, how we breathe matters. Breathe deeply, focus on the tasks at hand, learn how to breathe properly and consciously when you breathe through your mouth. You tend to overbreathe. Start to fix those things. Move plus sleep plus breathe plus focus. Eat plus move plus sleep plus breathe plus be present plus prosper. Optimal Breathing 101 and other amazing breathing focused books like Breathe by Belisa Vranic, The Power of Your Breath by Anders. It's packed with big ideas on how to breathe right. Most people surgically plug up their noses, so they had to breathe through their mouths exclusively for 10 days, wearing themed uniforms with little to no room to breathe in. Breathe again. Lighten yourself mentally, emotionally, physically, and spiritually. Breathe your new life into ancient clay pots. When to breathe the air is sickening and the last river is polluted, you will realize too late. One more time. Breathe less. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Victor. Well, I think this is a perfect transition to the play that Olga Kazakova is going to present. So you're welcome.
Hello, everyone. I guess I'm opening the war or trauma section. It's a play, so please be ready to listen for 20 minutes at least. And here is the guidance for you. Natalia, sorry, can you give me the access to my profile, Olga Kazakova? The co-host option, is it possible?
Let's see. I don't think I can do the first option, but let me see what I can do. You need a microphone too, Olga, because I call you.
No, I don't need.
What do you need?
Maybe I need use this tool from the left.
Okay. So
From
let
the
me make you a
iPad.
host. I think I can just make you a host.
Okay. Yes, it works. Thank you. The three scenes for post war, society, and theater.
Lighting with a freeze effect. From above only concentrated on the plain area. The rest of the stage being in darkness. If the spotlight intensity range from 0 to 10,
to 10, 10 represents total darkness and 10 is blinding light. The actor plays a person haunted by recurring voices in an 18 square meter room, and the audience must guess which voice pressed it.
When the actor moves towards the right wing, audience left, sounds slowly decrease, and the audience loses the ability to hear. The sounds expire immediately when the actor goes behind the right wing, and the audience becomes deaf.
The audience shouldn't occupy the first through 9th rows. Scene 1. The curtains are violently lifted, first one, then the other, in complete darkness. 60 seconds.
Upstage center, a red folding sofa with a pattern that looks like golden daggers. It depicts golden roses, but from the 10th row, it resembles daggers.
Light 3. The person crawls out of the left wing. The person wriggles towards the couch. The voice of Mother M from above.
He is a patriot.
The person gets to feet immediately, jiggles and turns the head to the audience right.
He is a patriot.
Light at 6.
He is a patriot.
The person rips the sofa's bench cushion and violently throws it on the floor.
He is a patriot.
The person turns the remains of the couch with its back to the stage and puts the bench cushion behind the backrest. I'm afraid of him.
He is a patriot.
The person lies on the bench cushion, curls up into a ball.
He is a patriot.
Light at 1. The rattle sound of the mechanism sliding apart. The stage floor with the person and bench cushion lifts down. Whistle from the left wing.
1. Take some deep breath and start relaxing each part of your body, from head to toe.
Whistle from the right wing.
2. You're seated on the ice of a silent, frozen lake, patiently waiting for a nibble, with nothing but clear, boundless blue sky above you.
Whistle from above.
3. You are lying in a black velvet hammock in a pitch black room.
The sound of a low, remote wail from the trap room. Whistle from all parts.
4. If you find yourself being distracted, just gently repeat the words Don't think, don't think, don't think.
The clear sound of a wail from the trap room prolongs for 10 seconds. Off to war. Suddenly, the wail cuts off. The stage floor, vibrating, lifts up on a level of deck. The person gets up immediately, flung to the right wing. The person stands motionlessly on the downstage right.
The person
lights a cigarette and draws air through. The person smokes for 1 minute.
The audible alarm goes off. The person smokes. Light signaling goes off.
The person goes off to the right wing. The iron safety curtain is falling. 30 seconds.
Tip 2. The audible alarm sounds. The safety curtain raises for 40 seconds and the lights are dim.
Upstage center. The remains of the red couch with a rose pattern that looks like golden daggers from the 10th row. Stage center. The bench cushion with yellow foam rubber sticking out. Why did we let him in?
The person swaying emerged from the right wing and moves in a zigzag fashion toward the left wing. A white dinner plate with stuffed cabbage rolls goes.
Tootsie descends from fireflies and lands on the stage left. The person doesn't react and continues movements. The voice of Mother M from the right wing.
He is going to conquer everyone.
Light at 8.
He is going to conquer everyone.
The person suddenly runs to the left wing, jumping over the couch. The person freezes in the center of the stage on the haunches, turns the eyes stage right, and holds a hand above the head.
Crystal ball with Olivia salad descends from flies and lands in the downstage center. The person doesn't react, standing motionless.
He is going to conquer everyone.
Suddenly, the person scratches the Olive 6B27 helmet attached to the head for 60 seconds. A glass plate with dressed herring, селедка под шубой, descends from flies and lands on the upstage center. 2 articles, 337 and 105. The person doesn't react, standing motionless.
He is going to conquer everyone.
Canned stewed meat, tushonka, is descending from flies. Mechanism gems, tushonka is hanging single on a rope, 2 yards from the ground on the stage right. Immediately, the person straightens up and throws toward the canned meat. The person stands on toes.
Toad bites the rope to fall apart and puts the canned meat in the pocket of the bright olive jacket.
The person crosses from the stage right to the downstage center. Light at 6. The person opens mouth and moves lips.
He is a tiger.
The person closes mouth. He
is a tiger.
Is a tiger.
He is a tiger.
Is a tiger.
The person opens mouth and rapidly moves lips. He is a tiger.
The person closes mouth.
He is a tiger.
He is going to conquer everyone.
The person suddenly squats and moves on tiptoes crosswise from the upstage left to the downstage right. The person backs up against the left wing, flung forward to the broken plate, shards with stuffed cabbage rolls, removes the helmet, picks up the golubtsi from the floor and puts it in the helmet. The person rushes in the downstage center, hunches and
leaping towards the fragment of the Olivier salad bowl, kidnaps the salad, discarding the pickles with disgust, and putting the salad without pickles in the helmet protects our country.
The person turns aside to the upstage center, hunched down, moves towards the shards of the dressed herring plate, and puts the silotka под шубой in the helmet. Protects our country. Light at 4.
The person takes out the canned meat from the pocket of the jacket. The person hits the canned meat with the face. The person bites the top left of the can with the upper teeth. The person bites the top right of the can with the lower teeth.
The person bites the entire can with the upper and lower jaws. The canned meat is opened under brute force. The person licks the upper and lower teeth with the tongue, thoughtfully extracting the remains of the blood. The person puts out the chunks of meat combined with lard and jelly from the can into the helmet. The
person mixes the food in the olive 6B27 helmet with the hands. The person goes to the bench cushion. The person sits on the cushion and starts eating from the helmet with hands. The person finishes the food,
puts on the helmet and curls up on the cushion.
He is going to conquer everyone.
Execution.
Light at 8. The rattle sound of the mechanism sliding apart. The stage floor with the person and bench cushion lifted out. Whistle from the left wing.
1. Take some deep breaths.
The sound of a low scream in the heart from the trap room. The person screams. Ah.
Ah.
Ah. Light at 6. Whistle from the right wing.
2. You are seated on the ice of silence.
The sound of a louder scream is heard from the trap room. The person screams.
Light at 2. Whistle from above.
3.
You're
lying in a black body bag.
The loud sound of a scream is heard from the trap room. The person screams. Whistle from
all parts. 4.
If you find yourself being neither dead nor alive, just gently repeat the words. I am broken. I am broken. I am broken.
The high sound of a scream from the trap room is prolonged for 10 seconds.
Suddenly, the person's hands appear on the edge of the stage floor. The person pushes off from the bottom of the trap room to the upper arm support. The
person back pressing the place of the knee between hands and rising begins to move.
He
is a patriot. The person goes to the left wing, stops, looks into the audience center and opens the mouth widely. The audience can see white spots on the person's throat.
The person moves the tongue up and down as if forgetting where the correct position for the tongue is. The person freezes with the mouth in the shape of the letter A from the Russian alphabet for 50 seconds.
The person closes the mouth. The audience hears the crunching of the person's jaw.
4 million for restitution. 4 million for restitution.
Suddenly, the person falls on the knees and crawls into the left wing. Scene 3.
Upstage center, the remains of the red couch with a rose pattern that looks like golden dagger from the 10th row. Stage center, the open hole in the stage deck. Stars of
Light at
leaves
8.
are scattered across the stage.
Light at 8. Voices in the house right R and house left L. The audience can't hear the left voice.
He returned.
He became more aggressive.
Passive.
He wrote the letter of discharge.
He was getting angry faster.
Faster.
He is supposed to join the army.
R.
He started to swear.
R.
He will be off to war.
He doesn't want to return.
He received the money.
Wow.
4 million rubles.
Mm-hmm.
He had to undergo rehabilitation.
Hey.
He used the money to get out.
Oh.
He isn't meeting the criteria.
Yeah.
No. He continues to receive summonses.
I will go and conquer them all.
Oh.
We opened a criminal case.
I don't trust anyone.
He turned himself in.
I don't want to.
We didn't say anything.
I don't want all of this.
You will go and conquer them all.
I don't want all of this.
I will go and conquer them all.
I don't want.
He is off to war.
The person slowly crawls out of the right wing with eyes closed. The person stops near the pieces of the glass plate and flips onto the back.
With the right hand, the person finds a shard from the plate and pierces the bit into the right thigh. The person flips onto the stomach and continues crawling, trying to swim through the stage, pushing the insides of the feet onto the stage deck.
The person
crawls to the hole.
Lowers the right hand, reaches for the hockey carrying case and hangs into the belt. The person lies flat on his back, motionless.
Light at 3.
The voice of grandmother G from the trap room.
He came in peace.
Light at 9.
He came in peace.
The person removes the entrenching shower, saperka, from the carrying case.
He came in peace.
The person leaves the shower's plate with a tongue for about 44 seconds.
He came in peace.
The person
The
suddenly
person
stands up,
suddenly stands.
holding fast to the shovel. The person runs to the empty can of stewed meat and collects the can with a shovel.
The person collects the shards of the white dinner plate of stuffed cabbage rolls with the shovel.
The person collects the shards of the Olivier salad crystal ball with the shovel. The person collects the shard of the glass plate with dressed herring with a shovel.
Right.
The person steps onto the apron and shakes out the shards into a body bag behind the stage.
Right.
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 He came in peace.
The
person stands motionless,
holding the body bag in both hands.
He came in peace.
Person stands holding the body bag in the hands with eyes open and sniffs the air.
He came in peace.
The person drops off the body bag, turning backwards to the audience and freezes with the right hand raise.
He came in peace.
The person walks to the hole in the stage deck, thoughtfully looks into the hole, and jumps off.
The bench cushion appears on the edge of the stage deck. The person pushes the bench cushion with yellow foam sticking out of the rubber.
Out of the rubber. The person back pressing and holding the edge of the bench cushion places the knee between the hands and rises to the stage floor.
He came in peace.
Suddenly, the person steps the shard into the bench cushion. The person looks closely at the shard and splits it in two. The person takes two shards, one in the right hand, the other in the left, and cuts the bench cushion.
The person stabs the shard in two.
The person stabs the shard in two. Person stabs the shard into. The person stops.
He is a tiger.
The person turns towards the audience. Light at 1.
The person lowers the gaze to the hands. In hands, the person holds two shards with traces of blood. The person says, "The vodka has run out." The person standing motionless looks into the audience.
Light.
Light at 3.
Light at 6.
Light at 1.
Light at 8.
Light at 6.
Light at 4.
Light at 8.
Light at 6.
Light at 2.
Light at 8.
Light at 3.
Light at 9.
Light at 1.
Chorus.
He is a patriot.
He came in peace.
Protects our country.
Why did we let him in?
During cooking.
He came in peace.
Or
Why did we let him in?
Off to war.
Right.
2 articles.
Poor thing.
330.
Don't let him into the show.
Grandmother.
5.
4 million.
2 articles. 337 and
Off to war.
105.
He came in
I'm
peace.
afraid of him.
He is a tiger.
Don't
Off
let
to
him
war.
into this.
Patriots.
4 million for restitution.
Why did we let him?
I'm afraid of him.
Of
Right.
war.
Articles 337 and
Right.
Why did we let him in?
During cooking.
Don't let him into this room.
He came in
Grandmother.
peace.
Why
I'm
did
afraid
we
of
let
him.
him in?
Poor thing.
Protects
Is a
our country.
patriot.
Chewing during
He is a
cooking.
patriot.
I am afraid of
Article
peace.
337 and
He
105.
came in peace.
2 articles.
Protect
Don't
our
let him
country.
into this
137
He is a
and
tiger.
105.
Off
to
to
war.
war.
Poor
Don't
thing.
let him into this room.
Protects our country.
Why did we
Why?
let him in?
I'm
Mother.
afraid of him.
Right.
Don't let him into this room.
Chewing during cooking.
War.
Mother.
Protects our
Grandmother.
country.
2
Two
articles.
articles.
337 and
337 and
105.
Or million
105.
for restitution.
He
Why
is a
did we
patriot.
let him in?
He's a
Off
patriot.
to war.
During
I'm
cooking.
afraid of him.
Right.
Fame.
He came in peace.
Of war.
He's a patriot.
He is a tiger.
Poor thing.
Protects our country.
Mother.
I'm afraid of him.
him.
Off to war.
Chewing
let him
during
in?
cooking.
4 million for restitution.
Poor thing.
Don't
Why
let
did we
him
let
into
him
this
in?
room. The
Choir
choir sounds for
sounds-
long as it is needed.
The choir sounds for years.
The choir sounds for a lifetime.
Curtain.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. That was quite closing to our reading, but we still have one more part planned. So reserve your questions, and do we want to do the Anastasia and Sofit? Do you want to Victor, Anastasia, Sofit, do you want to do the last part? Okay. Let's do the last part.
Yeah, we can't avoid it. Olga, thank you very much for your play. It was very I have not experienced anything like this before. Thank you very much. Yeah, we will finish our reading with some instruction. If life was an item in IKEA, then you might have found the instruction for the life, and we will read a part of it. This piece is also in a multimedia format, so but we will read it. Okay, no more intro. 1 second. So the instruction. First of all, you have to remember what things to avoid, and the most important thing is to avoid the singularity inside every black hole. And in order to avoid it, you have to avoid doing the things that you don't like to do. And then in order to avoid the things that you don't like to do, you need to avoid the integration headaches. To avoid the integration headaches, avoid moving to Florida.
To avoid moving to Florida, avoid exploitative photography.
To avoid exploitative photography, avoid harming the public.
To avoid harming the public, avoid regression and in LGBTI rights in the region.
To avoid regression and LGBTI rights in the region, avoid a full-blown balance of payments crisis.
To avoid a full-blown balance of payments crisis, avoid revealing the ruse.
To avoid revealing the ruse, avoid scams.
To avoid scams, avoid jail time.
To avoid jail time, avoid misuses that could lead into ethical or legal trouble.
To avoid misuses that could lead into ethical or legal trouble, avoid giving out misleading information.
To avoid giving out misleading misleading information. Avoid irreversible mistakes. Irreversible mistakes.
To avoid irreversible mistakes, avoid stupid mistakes.
To avoid stupid mistakes, avoid stealing something even though it has some value.
To avoid stealing something even though it has some value, avoid suffering.
To avoid suffering. Avoid unkindness.
To avoid unkindness,
To avoid unkindness, avoid any fight.
To avoid any fights, avoid working with him, her again.
To avoid working with him, her again, avoid such behavior.
To avoid such behavior, avoid perfectionism.
To avoid perfectionism, avoid discomfort.
To avoid discomfort, avoid the shame.
To avoid the shame, avoid thinking.
To avoid thinking about it, avoid mistakes that trip up.
To avoid mistakes that trip up, avoid dealing with personal issues or problems.
To avoid dealing with personal issues or problems, avoid kicking over
the old beehive.
To avoid kicking over the old beehive, avoid regrets in their 30s and 40s.
To avoid regrets in their 30s or 40s, avoid common.
To avoid common mistake before 30, avoid a career scene at all costs.
To avoid a career scene at all costs, avoid common interview mistakes.
To avoid common interview mistakes, avoid changing the work too much.
To avoid changing the work too much, avoid the 8 biggest mistakes when applying for a remote job.
To avoid the 8 biggest mistakes when applying for a remote job, avoid layoffs at Google.
To avoid layoffs, avoid running sensitive workloads in data products.
To avoid running sensitive workloads in beta products, avoid the use of clunky and error-prone manual indexing.
To avoid the use of clunky and error-prone manual indexing, avoid while loops in Python.
To avoid while loops in Python, avoid for loops.
To avoid for loops, avoid mistakes during your first days as a junior consultant.
To avoid mistakes during your first days as a junior consultant, avoid the 4 major pitfalls of data science projects.
To avoid the 4 major pitfalls of data science projects, avoid getting stuck in the middle of a rugged mountain.
To avoid getting stuck in the middle of that rugged mountain, avoid looking bad.
To avoid looking bad, avoid the sun.
To avoid the sun, avoid spicy foods and wear sunscreen.
To avoid spicy foods and wear sunscreen, avoid the real bottleneck.
To avoid the real bottleneck, avoid alcohol.
To avoid alcohol, avoid buying it.
To avoid buying it, avoid making solutions.
To avoid making solutions, avoid falling into treacherous traps.
To avoid falling into treacherous traps, avoid common memory.
To avoid common memory leaks, avoid Alzheimer's.
To avoid Alzheimer's, avoid overcrowding with conflicting words.
To avoid overcrowding with conflicting words, avoid overusing linking words as a non-native English writer.
To avoid overusing linking words as a non-native English writer, avoid euphemism.
To avoid euphemism, avoid the need to write.
To avoid the need to write, avoid unnecessary mental time travel.
To avoid unnecessary mental time travel, avoid problems in the future.
To avoid problems in the future, avoid climate collapse.
To avoid climate collapse, avoid the choice between a poorer today and a hotter tomorrow.
To avoid the choice between a poorer today and a hotter tomorrow, avoid war.
To avoid war, avoid disaster.
To avoid disaster, avoid crash.
To avoid crashing, avoid a car crash.
To avoid a car crash, avoid a quick trip to hell.
To avoid a quick trip to hell, avoid the guillotine.
To avoid the guillotine, avoid a singularity inside every black hole.
To avoid a singularity inside every black hole, avoid doing the things you don't like to do.
To avoid doing the things you don't like to do, avoid a singularity inside every black hole.
To avoid the singularity inside every black hole, avoid doing the things you don't like to do.
To avoid doing the things you don't like to do, avoid taking action entirely.
To avoid taking action entirely, avoid taking action entirely.
To avoid taking action entirely, avoid taking action entirely.
To avoid taking action entirely, avoid the resistance.
To avoid the resistance, avoid avoidance.
To avoid avoidance, avoid to avoid.
To avoid, to avoid, to avoid, avoid, to avoid.
Avoid to avoid, avoid to avoid.
Avoid to avoid, avoid to avoid.
Avoid, 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 avoid.
Avoid avoidance, to avoid, avoid.
Avoid avoidance, to avoid 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 avoid.
We have to break it here. We will never be able to stop.
Thank you. Yeah, now we know what to do. That was a perfect recipe, right? To avoid avoidance, avoid avoid. Thank you very much. I'm glad it worked the way it worked. Glad that everybody's voice was so different. Well, I do think that Olga's play needs a comment, which I've had and nobody else had. Do you want to tell about the story? Is like I don't know if you don't. That's pretty dramatic of a story. Maybe I mean
Maybe you can tell, because last time when you told during the class it was quite good.
did I tell? I improvised. I have no idea. Well, so the play has a character. I'm not sure if you like all these persons is a character, and the character is based
Soldier, yes.
Soldier, on Soldier and his behavior after the war. So basically, what he did, he killed his grandmother as she was trying to calm him down. But he was doing other things which were signs of trauma. And so the play is kind of taking us through all of the
stages, yes.
Stages of his trauma, though I didn't quite get whether the act of killing, like there is stabbing, but he's stabbing something else, right? He's stabbing not exactly the
yeah. You have to guess, yes, because it's something that happening in his head, right? And we are not quite sure it's in the reality or in his mind. So
right. Yeah. Well, so I think that was fair to give this comment, because otherwise it's hard to grasp. I don't know if it was easy to grasp for people. They also want to say that I have never seen using chat as a part of the play. That was something very new to me. Yeah. Well, let's open this up for discussion. If you know, I'm not sure if people have questions, they can ask questions. If people have some comments, they're welcome to say their comments.
just want to say that this piece that Victor has presented and Nastya and Sophie, this ending of this piece really stuck in my head, and I like go around for days pronouncing like in my head like to avoid. Yeah, so that's really something that doesn't let you go.
I kind of like avoiding the singularity inside the black hole. I like it. That I can do. I'm not sure if I can avoid, but avoiding singularity inside every black hole. But
you just need to remember not to do the things that you don't like to do, and you will avoid the singularity inside every black hole.
Sounds like a very personal Victor type of feeling, though that was probably not. It's probably from the spam emails.
But it's just it was just the soil. I mean, I was compiling it and I was getting rid of what I was not interested in and adding what was resonating. So it's kind of mine.
I also wanted to take us back to Anastasia Tsukanova piece. Tsukanova, like when I was reading her piece, I was thinking of masquerade as masks that are, on this part of your face somehow. But then with the video, suddenly the masquerade is a pandemic, which somehow is less obvious for me. So what was the video doing? Were you like what? It's also felt theatrical. If you wanted to.
Yeah, thank you for your question. For me, this was also kind of a surprise because my image of this piece was another one, but I worked with AE and somehow.
Did you work with Midjourney, or did you work? What did you work with?
With a stable diffusion program, and somehow it grew to something else. And I also think maybe it's interesting. It added some different contexts.
Totally, it was a completely different reading because I remember reading what you've written, and then suddenly I see this. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
A real
So
co-author.
Yeah, but I don't think that I will use that video for like final music video or something. It's just an experiment, but I liked it anyway. Thank you.
I also had a question to Anastasia Bulatova. So tell us about this performance in the plastic bag. Just very curious. So I think I know the waterfall. Is that in Bard, right? Ah, gosh.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you for asking. Actually, it was documented in my native city in Sochi. We have like a small national park, like a box tree. It's like in Russian would be Tisesam. It's a very tragic story with during the Olympic Games 2014, they destroyed the majority of population of these like cute box trees because we didn't have necessary environmental politics about that. And later on, this performance somehow, in my experience, also connected to very also like personal feelings. Well, to be short, my ex at Bar College, he was always like very put together, like very emotionless, and he wrote me a bunch of poems when we were together, and I haven't paid enough attention to them, but I was rereading them this summer, and they were like very emotional. I could never imagine he could be like this emotional because he always made me look like a savage, like a savage Slavic animal who always like cares about something like unimaginable, something like very animalistic. And I started to feel like this performance puts it kind of like together because this like plastic boundary between you and nature. It's so artificial, and I think like the dark ecology by Timothy Morton have done a deal of breaking those ideas and biases in our head, but I still felt like I wanted to speak about that, and I also wanted to speak about my feelings.
Okay. I also wanted to say that Uliana's piece, this transformation of the dialogue with the sisters, it suddenly, I think it fell into the very right shape. Think that the conversations suddenly generate themselves and the situations generate themselves, and this repetition is somehow more of a family dynamics. Do you feel that it's finished, or do you think it needs more work?
Thank you. Yeah, I agree with you. I also felt that it's
just like
right.
All into place.
Yeah, and kind of like in a text way also. Because,
Yeah.
you're apart with close people.
Like you still probably need to do some editing where the words appear.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure you need a background, because this way it looks like a letter, like an email. Very simple. But up to you. All right. I think we have less and less participants. So I'll just open the floor to everyone again. Yes, people are already tired. You can't keep people for that long.
So yeah, last.
I
might
will do another call, I always do 3 times. I'm very Russian in this respect.
Well, I will just like briefly thank I wanted to thank everyone for your beautiful creative work, and I couldn't imagine you guys are doing such great things like in terms of this course. I guessed, but I couldn't like envision that, and now I see that how great we are, and it makes me really happy.
Yes, it is really hard to imagine how deep each piece can be, how many emotions is involved in each tiny piece. And it's cool to see everything in the end of the course.
And I'm glad that there were different emotions. There was personal emotions, but there were less personal things also. Something more linear and traditional, something less traditional and more experimental. Not sure if there is a way to make it all of this kind of conceptually put together, but as a polyphony, I think worked beautifully. Right. Well, anybody else wanted to give a final comment?
I wanted just to like to say some words about Elena's work, which was really I could really imagine the story. Like I was listening to it, and I wasn't looking at the screen. I was just like imagining the whole thing. It was really easy to plunge into it. And also wanted to say thank you to Antonina's work, because it's like really structural, and I really enjoyed how these like, because hypertext is something I'm really interested in, but it's like really difficult to imagine how it works for me personally. So I'm just like really I don't know, it's just cool. Thank you.
Yeah, that's such a cool shape, right? A bag.
Yeah.
And the objects that you have in the bag. Yeah. Right.
I also wanted to say that I was really inspired by Jana's work, and it was very interesting to me to see to how basically 2 poems that put kind of a similar concept in different forms. And it was really fun to see how you can play around with one idea, and it was so inspiring. I feel like I want to write something more experimental and to do something new because of how like impactful and emotional your poems make.
Thank you.
I also wanted just to give a small comment. I have for I think all of the art, whether it's music, movies, or anything, very simple criteria if I like it or not. If after like interaction with something, I have new ideas and I want to do something like kind of something that uses some of the instruments that utilizes the instruments that I have just seen, for example, with Olga, with Uliana, Katya, and Antonina, and Yelena, and everyone. I think everyone. Then it is worth it, definitely. And in our case, it was very good. A lot of ideas to explore and a lot of instruments to use in the future.
I'm just a little sorry that Nasty's piece is so short. Like I wanted more. I mean, to hear the poetry or something. But the video was really inspiring too.
I also hope that Nastya would be doing something. She promised that she would be doing something. But, well, next time, I think.
Thank you. I'll try to enlarge my poetry.
Right. Well, I think it's always good to finish on a good note. So let's finish on a good note. Well, last call. Okay. Thank you very much, everyone. That's almost 2 hours, but I don't know if everybody thinks the same, but for me it was really exciting to listen to and to see how this well, to hear how all these pieces that I've read, how they can be pronounced aloud, how you look differently when you pronounce these pieces. So thank you for all of this. And this is the end of our first and maybe not first, maybe not last public reading. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank everyone.
Thank you, everyone.